Hi everyone, and what's up guys. In this video we're gonna create some spheres that we will put on this left and right wall, and our gameplay scene will be look much more nicely than currently. So for that, going here in the hierarchy panel and just to create simple sphere, so go to the 3D object and create some sphere. And now we created an sphere, and first thing that we will do is removing this 3D collider. So this is sphere collider, and this is of course for 3D platform. So just remove this component and everything is fine. So take this tool and position our sphere somewhere around here. I think this will be nice. So when we go in the game panel, so no there but there. So when we go, yeah, there will be nice place for our left spheres that we will create now. And now we will of course take this one sphere and copy and paste this several times. So just to copy and paste this, for example, 10 times for now. So this is actually sphere 2, and let's center it here, sphere 3 here for example. And this is a little bit boring part of this creating this kind of game, but what we can do, we must take these design tips in order to our game looks nicer than without any design. So now fifth one sphere, go here. So if you are bored to watch this, you can easily cut out this part of video, but I must show you how can we create this kind of design in our game. So just to move this however you want, long in distance one between other, and everything will be fine like this. And this is actually 11 sphere, and now we need actually to cover all our wall with these spheres, and for that we need more spheres. So copy and paste this multiple times, for example like this. Go to the 12 one, which is here, now 30 and 40 and 15 and 16. And now we fill up all our left wall, and now we need to copy and paste all of these spheres and just move it to the right wall. We will do this by holding Control and just to take all of these spheres that we currently made and just to copy and paste this just 2 times, and now just to transfer these spheres in the right wall, and now this is very fine. So now we create one nice design for our spheres, and that is, we will now know does we move backward or forward and something like this. So when I run the game, and now when we go here, we see that we have there spheres that is look very nice when we play the game, when we are in this gameplay scene. And I think this is nicer design than previous one. And now turn off the game, and of course if you like to attach some color on our spheres, just to go there to the materials and create some materials that you like to create. I created there already 4 materials that we have used for our obstacles, but if you have your favorite color and you would like to attach on these spheres, just to create like we have created there, these are current materials for our obstacles. So just to go to the shader unit, you unlit and color, and choose their main color which you want to choose. So I will not attach any color to our spheres because I will stay at this default one color, because I don't see particular require for that. But if you like to attach some color, just to do this like we do for our obstacles, just to create material, choose unlit color, and you are good to go. And now moving forward, we want actually in this video to create one detector. So when we finish our level 1, and this is all this scene is actually level 1, so when we finish this level 1, we want actually to show one image to our screen. So when we actually touch this detector that will be invisible, we want actually to make that one image actually show up on our screen, and we will know that we have finished our level 1. So this will be our image in the asset. So we doesn't yet import that image, but I will import now our image. And this is this congrats image. So just to drag and drop this image right to our assets, and we are good to go. So now first of all we need to actually compress this image like all of our assets. So just to go here and override for PC Max and Linux standalone, and we need that our pixelization for our image is 220, and for that we will go here and choose this 256 in order to we can compress in very right way this image. So just to click apply and we are good to go. And now we want to add to this image shows up to our screen whenever we finish our level 1. So we will put here a detector, and when we touch this detector we will make that this image show up to our screen. And just to go here, because now we have a lot of game objects in our hierarchy, and just to create here, so no here but here to the gameplay there in our scene, and just to go here to the game object and click on create empty, and this empty game object will be for our spheres. So spheres, and choose all of our spheres, so like this by holding the control button, choose all of our spheres. So like this I will choose all of our spheres. So this is, as I said, boring part of our job, but what we can do, we need actually to tidy up our hierarchy panel and all of our spheres, and just to drag and drop to the spheres game object that we have created. And now our hierarchy panel looks nicer. And we will do the same thing for our arrows. So go here and create empty, and we will name this empty game object arrows like this, and choose all of our arrows and just to drag and drop in the arrows game object like this. And now we see that now our hierarchy panel looks very tidy up. And now, as I said, we need to create this detector that we'll put on the end of our level 1, and that will actually detect when we finish our game. So just to go here and create one more empty game object, so no in the arrows but here outside of any game object. So we will name this game object detector like we said, and now go here in the script and just open our player script, and our Visual Studio will open our script, and I will show to you how can we create effect that we wanted to create actually. And now that we have in our player script, first thing that we need to do here is creating one mono behavior function, and that function is of course void on trigger enter 2D. So where is that function? Yeah, there is. So on trigger enter 2D, and we see that this collider 2D and collision, these parameters comes by default whenever we create this function, and we need actually to call here. So first thing that we will do is actually the checking if our collision dot tag, so collision dot tag is equal to our detector, so is equal to, and by hard coding we're gonna type here detector like this. And if our collision dot tag, so meaning that if our player is in collision with this detector that we will put on the end of our gameplay scene, we need to call our panel or our image to shows up on our screen that I have explained before. And we need a lot of stuff to do before we call this here. So first thing that we need to do actually is create this detector and create actually the tag of our detector in order to we can know. So whenever we type here, for example, detector in hard coding, we need to know which is that detector. So Unity doesn't know which is that detector if we doesn't tag this detector like we tagged in the code in our C# script. So in order to achieve this, we need to go here on the tag, and go here to the add tag and go here to the plus, and we need to type here detector like this. Click enter, go again to the detector and now on the tag, and we see that we have there a detector tag for our detector game object. And we also need to add some components to our detector in order to that collision can happen when we go through the detector with our player. So go here to the add component and just search for the box collider 2D. So make sure that it is 2D, so not this box collider without 2D, meaning this is for 3D. And click on the 2D, and now we see that here is that collider on our arrow. So it's on our arrow, I don't know why. And we need now to resize a little bit our collider, so it will be here on the size. For the X, it will not be too much in the length, so I think it is going to be about 0.80, and for the Y it is going to be like this. So I think this will be enough. So when I take this tool right here and when I go here, now we will, as I said, centrate our detector on the top of our lever in order to we can know when we finish our level. So when our player go through this last obstacle, this red obstacle, and touch this detector, our image congrats will appear on our screen, and we will know that in that time we finish our gameplay, or we finish actually our level 1 scene. And in order to set up all of this image and panel that we need to show to our screen whenever we touch this detector, we need actually to create first of all this panel. To create that panel, we need to go here in the hierarchy, so right click here, go to the UI and create simply panel. And now we see that our panel is by default child of our canvas that we have created when we created this text. But anyway, we need to go here for the image of our panel, and from this background to change to our congrats image. So type here congrats, so we see that this is image that we have imported, and now our panel will have the congrats image like his default image. So whenever we now resize our panel, our image is actually be that panel. So go here where is our panel, and we see that we can move our panel above, and we will of course do that. So our panel will be on the top of our gameplay scene, and now we see one gap, and that is our image is actually a little bit dark. So in order to change this, we need to go here on the color and change this alpha channel, I think, yeah. So pump up till the end, and now we see that we clearly see our congrats panel. And we need now actually to resize a little bit our image, because we're gonna decrease a little bit in dimensions our image because it is currently very large. So I will take this tool right here, which is pretty awesome, and just resize this image a little bit like this. I think, yeah, I can move our image here, for example, a little bit resize just to centrate a bit right to our walls, in the center actually of our walls, and now our image looks very nice. So when we finish our game, when we touch the detector, as I said, we will show this image to us in the gameplay scene, on the end of this gameplay scene, and this will be very nice effect and very nice end actually of our level 1. And just to currently turn off this panel, and you will see why. So go here in the scripts and create a one C# script that will we call gameplay controller. So this script will be responsible for controlling the gameplay scene actually. And for the variables, we're gonna first of all create a public game object, which is going to be our panel. And second variable will be public static. And I think you understand what means this public static. I covered that in our C# tutorial. But anyway, we will call this public static variable for our gameplay controller, which is actually our script, and we will call this variable instance. And this variable will be responsible for inheritance in between our scripts. So we will call from these scripts, we will call some methods in these player scripts when comes the time when we need to call their showing panel whenever we touch our detector. So first of all, we need to set up this detector. This actually, our panel. So first thing that we will do is removing this update method because we don't need it anymore, and just to create here void make instance like this. This will be our method for our inheriting, and there will be just a check. So if our instance is equal to null, then we will call that instance is equal to this. And this simply means that our instance is here from our gameplay controller. We're just checking does our instance is currently exist in our game. If it doesn't exist, we're gonna create here instance and set that instance is now equal to this instance right here. I am not sure that you understand this, but you will understand in the later tutorials when we started to create some complex games, and you will see why we use this. This is just actually in order we can inherit some methods from these scripts to another scripts, which is actually player. And now call this method in our start method. So just a call here make instance like this. And now go here below our start method and create one coroutine, which is going to be IEnumerator, and this we will call show panel coroutine like this. And in this coroutine we're gonna say first of all yield return, so return main, not this but return new, and wait for seconds. We will wait 0.7 seconds f, and then we will say so panel, so our panel dot set active to be equal to true. And I think this is one logic stuff. I think you understand this, but anyway I will explain once again. So there we will just wait 0.7 seconds, and then we call this panel to be active. So we will actually show our image, and we will call this coroutine in one method, which is going to be public method. So public void starting coroutine like this. And as I said, we will call there our IEnumerator, which is actually the coroutine, and we call our coroutine like start coroutine and pass the show panel, which is actually name of our coroutine, and in these parentheses we call our coroutine, so start coroutine, and this method, this all method call our coroutine, which we set up right here. And now this starting coroutine method will be called here. So if you can imagine, so we there just in this coroutine wait 0.7 seconds, and then we activate our image, and then we call there this coroutine, which is actually method which is going just to call this coroutine. So because this is the public method, and we can transfer the public method in the other scripts, and for that there will be call gameplay controller dot instance dot starting coroutine like this, and we call our coroutine from the other scripts. And you will see now for what we will use this make instance, and you see why we use there a public starting coroutine. Actually why we use this kind of method, because we need to transfer this method into this our player script, which is actually the other script. And actually we just checking here if our player, which is actually our circle that we have created, is touch the detector, which is actually in the finish of our game, we will call this coroutine, which actually call this activation of our image after 0.7 seconds, and I think you understand what's happening here. So save again all of this and go back and just go here to the detector just to make sure that I didn't set that our detector is triggered. So we need to set there that our detector, so our collider of our detector actually needs to be triggered, and for that make sure that you set your detector collider to be triggered in order to this can work, otherwise this will not work. And now play our game in order to we can see what's going to happen here. So just to go here, go above to in order to we can test this detector. So when we touch our detector, nothing is happening. Why? I don't know. I need to see this. Why nothing inside? Because we didn't attach this gameplay controller script to any game object. So we need, in order to this script work, we need to attach this script on some of our game object, and this is basic stuff in Unity programming. So just to go to the hierarchy panel, create empty game object, and just call our game object gameplay controller like our script, and just to go here and attach this gameplay controller script on our gameplay controller game object. And we need to attach just there on this empty slot our panel that we have created, and this is this panel. So just to drag and drop in this empty slot, and now when we play the game, I hope everything will be fine. So I now go here through these obstacles in order to test this detector. So when I touch our detector, again nothing is happening. Why? I'm not really sure. I need to fix this, but I think we need to go here to the add component for our player and attach a rigid body 2D. I'm not sure why, but I think this is the problem of our issue, and I think this is the problem. So just take there, where is the gravity? So take the gravity and set it to be equal to 0, and now when I play the game, we will see what is going to happen. Now this game a little bit blinking because I played this game in the Unity, and sorry about that. And just to go here for the detector, and now we see that our code work and everything is fine. So now when we touch this detector after 0.7 seconds, this image shows to us, and we now see that we have finished our level. And this is for this video, guys. So I show you how can we create this detector, how can we make the collision between our player and this detector, and how can we actually make that our image show to us and appear actually to our screen whenever we reach the end of our level. This was the last video of this tutorial Cubes in Action game, so I just want to shortly congratulate you for finishing up this game. This was for this game in general, and I think you are satisfied with what you learned in this tutorial. And until some next game, guys, goodbye.